chilly Friday night, and the eyes of the Inland Valley focus on the city of Laverne, where tonight a 24-year rivalry resumes as the San Dimas Saints enter Glenn Davis Stadium to take on the host Bonita Bearcats. Good evening, everyone. This is Sergio Perez, joined tonight by Scotty Fitzgerald. It's the Smudgepot game, folks. San Dimas taking on Bonita. The Smudgepot game started in 1974, Scott, when the mayors of the city of Laverne and San Dimas decided to hold a contest between the two schools. They chromed an old Smudgepot, which is used, from what I've heard, to keep oranges warm when Foothill was an orange grove. And they turned it into a plaque. The top of the trophy tells the history of the Smudgepot, and the bottom shows who's won each game. The San Dimas Saints have won 17 of the meetings. Bonita's only won 7, but Bonita has held the Smudgepot for the past 2 years, Scott.
Yes, Sergio, the Smudgepot is definitely the poor man's Stanley Cup, and San Dimas would love to get that back on their side this year.
Going into tonight's game, Scott, how are both teams doing?
Well, let's go with that. Bonita's Bearcats' overall record is 7-1, and the Val Vista League record for them is 4-1. San Dimas Saints have the identical record. Overall, 7-1, Val Vista League 4-1. Both teams suffering their first loss last week. Bonita's against Baldwin Park and San Dimas against Northview last week.
Now, Scott, who are some of the key players to watch on this Bonita Bearcat team?
Well, both these teams have high-powered offenses and big players, but definitely for Bonita Bearcats, the one player to watch who runs the offense is Brett Johnson. The quarterback has thrown for 942 yards and 9 TDs. Also, another player is the multi-talented Ricardo Stewart. He just doesn't do the receiving for the team. He does a lot of rushing for the team. He's received for 490 yards with 7 TDs and rushed for 252 yards with 4 TDs.
Not only that, Scott, he does play free safety, so he will go both sides of the ball tonight.
He is huge. Just as huge as him is the tailback DeAndre Balin. He's rushed for 698 yards and 11 TDs. He shares the backfield with several other tailbacks for the Bonita Bearcats. Also, Brian Siegel and Chris Capello are the other two out of the 5 total that they have that they are planning to throw at the San Dimas Saints tonight, Sergio.
Now, normally you would think that a team that doesn't have a 1,000-yard rusher is not doing that great, but when you add up all those stats, you have really 4 people that contribute to 1,000
Exactly.
yards.
It's a well spread out offensive ground attack with Damian Reynolds and all those guys that are going to come at the San Dimas Saints that have been tearing up the turf for the Bonita Bearcats.
Now, for the visiting San Dimas Saints, who are the key players to look for?
Well, another big key player is the quarterbacks. You got to look at the quarterbacks, which is Jesse Anderson. Jesse Anderson has thrown for 1,649 yards, 11 TDs. That's second in the Inland Valley. And he has the weapons to go to. Eric Ingram's a nice addition and a little bit of like a spice to this team. He gets this team what they need. He allows his team to air it out and open up that game with his solid ground running. The 2 weapons are DJ Hackett. DJ Hackett has has received for 675 yards and 2 TDs. And Brian Hawkendale, another huge tight end for him.
Now, DJ Hackett, folks, does play cornerback. He's number 1 in the league with 4 interceptions, number 1 in the whole Inland Valley with 4 interceptions. And rumor has it, on Monday, the University of California, Berkeley is going to give DJ Hackett a full ride.
Well, Sergio, he's huge. And the other Hackett that's just as huge is Roosevelt Hackett. And they're not related, folks, but these guys play so in sync. With 306 yards receiving, Roosevelt is just as big as DJ, and these guys make big plays for the Saints.
Now the captains are coming out onto the field for the ceremonial coin toss for the visiting Saints. You have DJ Hackett, obviously, as well as Jeff Runnels, their big linebacker who has 97 tackles, Joey Mason, the guard, as well as Micah Miller, the punter. For the home team, the Bonita Bearcats, coming out to the field will be Brett Johnson, the aforementioned quarterback, as well as Ricardo Stewart.
Sergio, let me tell you something about this game. Is usually a game for last place. This game usually doesn't mean much. It means the team who's going to not finish in last. But this year, these teams have been reconstructed took a 4-year process for both these teams to rebuild, and they have come up, and this is the battle for first place tonight. Who's going to be in first place at the end of this game will most likely have a good chance of winning the league and getting high rankings in the CIF playoff bracket.
Also out at midfield for the Bonita Bearcats is Jeff Carmack as well as Brian Siegel. They're outstanding defensive players. We're waiting for the coin toss, and here come the San Dimas Saints to the field. And listen to the crowd roar.
The Saints look really fired up tonight, Sergio. They really look like they're ready to get after it.
They really want that trophy.
They'd love to have it back. San Dimas has really dominated in Bonita, San Dimas sports. San Dimas is usually the team that usually wins, but Bonita's got the upper hand for the past couple years.
And now the fans, the home team, the fans for Bonita are waiting, expecting, and we have the kickoff confirmed. We have
Bonita's getting really fired up right now, ready to come out, and their players are meeting at midfield. These kids are ready to play. This is something they've been waiting all week for, to get after it and let the playing do the talking all week.
And tension builds, folks. Bonita waiting to take the field. There are your referees, and here come the Bonita Bearcats, folks. And boy, are they pumped up for tonight's game.
I'm sure both coaches have told both kids on both sides, hey, to let the play do the talking and let every emotion out there, leave it all on the field and play hard all night. I'm sure that's what they're telling them.
San Dimas won the toss and elected to kick off, so they will receive the ball at the start of the second half. So that means that Brett Johnson and the Bonita offense will take the field first.
Both these programs, Sergio, are definitely riding an emotional high. Even coming off a loss last week, they're both glad to be still in this picture, the championship picture with a loss last week.
Micah Miller set to kick off, serving as both the punter and the kicker. You have Ryan Tolan back to receive, as well as Ricardo Stewart. And we're waiting for this game to get under, folks. And here's the kick from Micah. It's a grounded kick. Taken, finally brought down. First and 10 from Bonita at the 40-yard line. The kick taken by number 52 of the Bearcats. Brett Johnson takes the field, organizing the troops. Let's set the offense for you. At quarterback, Brett Johnson. The running backs, DeAndre Beelan. At the other running back, Brian Siegel. Your receivers, Ricardo Stewart and Chris Capella. And now Johnson switching the plays. The give to Beelan. Beelan up the sideline, folks. 2 men to beat. He's finally brought down.
The guy's like a freight train. He gets the ball and goes, Sergio. He's a big back. His nickname is Tank, and you can see why. He comes like a tank right at you.
Brought down finally by Dedrick Williams. A big gain all the way down to the San Dimas 35. A gain of 15 yards for the junior running back. For the offensive line for Bonita, it's number 73, Matt Mears, Carson Anderson, Steve Page, Jeff Kreutzer, Alan Irvin.
They got a huge front line, Sergio. It's absolutely huge, both sides, defense and offense.
Johnson under center, looking to pass, throws it to Stewart. Stewart met immediately, folks. Met by the DJ Hackett, and that's going to be one of the best matchups all evening, Scott.
It definitely is, Sergio. These guys are two exceptional athletes. They're both basketball players for the team also, for the schools. And these guys are going to be going at each other all night. It's going to be really interesting to watch.
The defense for San Dimas. You have, starting at defense, defensive end Joey Mason, Fahimi Ito Katsu, Robert Santiago, and Jordan Nichols the front four. The give to Beeline. Beeline breaks one tackle, finally met by Jeff Runnels, folks. And that's Runnels' 98th tackle of the season. Runnels getting Beeline right behind the backfield.
That was a huge hit right there. Jeff Reynolds stepped right up in the hole, wrapped him up, and drove him back. That was a nice power tackle right there.
Runnels leading the way, as I mentioned, with 98.5 tackles, and he's only a junior, folks. So this defense is set for a long time. The linebacking core for San Dimas: Juan Donoso, Jeff Runnels, and they're starting 5 DBs: Daniel Thornton, DJ Hackett, Corey Hagwood, Tedrick Williams, and Roosevelt Hackett. Johnson back to pass. He's going for Stewart, and it's caught, folks. Ricardo Stewart caught it at the 1 yard line, finally out of bounds.
Sergio, that's what this game's going to be about tonight. We're going to see plays like that. We're going to see amazing catches, big plays. These teams both have big-time players.
That's a 30-yard reception by Ricardo Stewart. Stewart goes out of the lineup.
San Dimas really not known for their Bonita not known for their passing attack, but they wanted to show that off right early and often.
Stewart with the jumbo package, the give to DeAndre Beeline. He sweeps right. He's met at the line, and he gets stopped. No, touchdown! Touchdown, Bonita Bearcats.
As you can see, Sergio, that was 2 hits put on him right there, and they couldn't bring the tank down. The guy is huge. He is a strong back. You got to hit him with every guy. You need to have 11 guys on this guy. That's how huge he is.
San Dimas, Jeff Runnels in there, couldn't bring him down, and Bonita goes on the scoreboard first thanks to a 2-yard scamper by DeAndre Beeline. The extra point, the hold by Ricardo Stewart. In to kick is their great kicker.
I'm sure that makes Bonita feel really good to score early in the game, because last week against Baldwin Park, they had some problems scoring last week. Ricardo Stewart was out with getting in a fight with the week before, and their offense sputtered a little bit. Wasn't really moving. It wasn't as potent against the Baldwin Park Braves as it has looked tonight. It looks really good so far.
We have a delay of game penalty, illegal procedure against the Bearcats. That's going to push them back, folks. So now it's going to be a long extra point kick for Bonita. The hold, it's a fake, folks. Stewart going to take him himself, sweeps, and he's met. No good. Conversion's not good. Stewart met right when he was about to reach the goal line. Tackled right there by number 43, Juan Donoso, the linebacker.
Sergio, you can tell these teams want to come out and get right after each other and put points up on the board. As you see, Bonita went to some early chicanery early off in the game.
Early tomfoolery, as Coach Bob Toledo would like to say.
True.
And so now Bonita leading 6-0. San Dimas will get the ball, and we'll see what their great quarterback Anderson can do.
Well, I'm sure their offensive players are ready to get out on the field and show their stuff, just like the Bonita offensive players just did. And I'm sure Hackett's ready just to make a big-time play, just as big as Stewart did there. These guys are going to be playing a chess game constantly.
Zach Boosie, who's also a wide receiver, folks, kicks it off. Here's the kick. It's a deep kick. Taken. He's sweeping right, and it's taken all the way down to, taken by Ingram, down to the 16-yard line. Capello on the stop for Bonita. Now it's time to set up the San Dimas offense. As we mentioned before, Jesse Anderson, the quarterback, the senior, leading the team out onto the field. Eric Ingram and Corey Haygood are your running backs. DJ Hackett and Roosevelt Hackett are the receivers. Jordan Nichols starting at tight end. Shannon Murphy, Joe Mason, Brian McDonald, Tom Blank, and Robin Santiago are your line. San Dimas, Anderson under center. Putting Man in motion. Anderson looking back to pass, of course. Pass complete to number 31. That's Roosevelt Hackett.
I tell you, those are the guys they go to, the Hacketts. The Hacketts are constantly the guys that they want to go to. Those are their big playmakers. Once they get the ball, they just don't get tackled. They have the moves to make an explosive play. That's why they're exciting to watch.
Hackett goes out of the game. Kirk Yee in, as well as number 8, Tedrick Williams, who doubles as the strong safety.
Tedrick is another weapon that we didn't get a chance to talk about, but he is huge too. He is just as huge as these other 2 receivers as Roosevelt Hackett and DJ Hackett.
Let's set up the Bonita defense after this play. The give is out to Ingram. Ingram sweeping right, folks, and he's met by a whole pride of Bearcats. Tackle in there on the tackle is Ricardo Stewart as well as Talon. Let's set up your Bonita defense. At one defensive end, number 44, Jeff Carmack. At the defensive tackle position, Allen Irving. Brian Dunlap, the other defensive tackle. B.J. Neal in at the defensive end. Your linebackers, Stephen Page, Ryan Tolan, Steve Gustin. And your defensive backs, Devin Robinson, Joe Martin, Ricardo Stewart, Dave Musa. Anderson under center, surveying the scene. He puts Hackett into motion. Anderson looking for the open man. He's going deep, folks, to Roosevelt Hackett.
Huge plays.
Hackett makes the reception, being guarded by Devin Robinson, and that's just a huge play right there.
That is, Sergio, and we have seen 2 huge catches by the receivers. These teams are showing that they love to pass the ball, and that's what it's going to make for an exciting game tonight.
1st and 10 for San Dimas at the Bearcat 37. And this, as we said at the top of the pregame, folks, is going to be a lot of air time for both quarterbacks since they both love to throw the ball. I can hear you fine. Anderson under center. The fake. It's given out to Ingram. Ingram sweeping. Can't find anything. And he's still on his feet somehow, folks. Finally brought down by Joe Martin of Bonita.
Joe Martin had a hard time bringing him down right there. He wrapped him up, but didn't use his legs to drive him down. Instead, he wrapped him up with his upper body and Ingram kept on his feet and kept motoring and overpowered Martin, and it took several other Bearcats to bring him down.
And that's what makes for a great running back, folks. If he keeps his legs moving, it's hard to bring somebody down. That's what the great ones do.
Exactly.
You hear me? You hear me?
We've got Anderson under center.
All the way up.
2 wide receivers. Now we have Yee in motion. Anderson back to pass. Throws to Hackett. Roosevelt Hackett just off his fingertips. Being defensed by Devin Robinson, the junior.
Sergio, can't you feel it that almost every play in this game is going to be a big one? The electricity here, the fans are into it on both sides. It's going to be a good one. I can't believe this, that the Smudgepot has been so mediocre so many years and how great it is this year.
Well, with both teams coming in with a 7-1 record and this having major implications as Anderson calls for a timeout. I mean, just look at it, folks. This place is standing room only. With league implications, this has now become one of the important games, if not the most important game in the Val Vista League.
Correct, Sergio. These teams here where, Bonita was very lucky to find out that San Dimas lost. San Dimas was very lucky to find out that Bonita lost, because this game could be, if one of the teams would have won last week, would have been riding on, this game a lot more than what it does right now. But now this keeps it at that number 1 berth coming out of this game.
Anderson returning to the field after discussing what to do with Coach Ted Clark. And Scott, you cover both of these teams. What's Coach Clark's mentality going up into this game?
Well, you know what? He prepares the kids and gives them everything they need to know, and puts the confidence in his kids at the fact that, hey, you could do all the coaching you could do, you can prepare all your kids all you want, but you know what? They still got to go out there and perform. And that's what he believes, the fact that they got to go out there and perform, but he wants them to have a hard work ethic mentality when they do go out there and perform.
With 8 minutes left to go in the first quarter, Bonita up 6-0 off a sweep by DeAndre Berlin. And here's the pass. Anderson forced to get rid of it as he was being harassed by the Bonita defense, especially that of number 28, folks. Big Brian Siegel, the running back.
He's fast, and you obviously saw that right there. He came in really quick, wasn't picked up by anyone, came in blitzing and got a hold of Anderson. Luckily, Anderson was supposed to end up getting it off, right there.
And now it's a 4th and 8 from the 35-yard line of Bonita. Into the game now. They're changing the plays, folks. San Dimas changing the play. We have Lawrence Wright back.
No, actually, correction. Corey Haygood back to punt.
Hagan back to punt. And here's the punt. It's a shank, and it goes out of bounds, folks.
No, that was out of bounds. That was actually Sean Swedlow back to punt. Haygood, it looks like they changed those plays around right there, Sergio. Did that look like what it looked to you?
It looked like, at first it looked like they were going to go for a field goal, which I would have honestly, in my opinion, tried to get some points on the board. But obviously it was a good punt as it puts the Bearcats in bad field position. 1st and 10 from the Bearcats 7, folks.
Yes, it does. It marks them back, way back there. Where you want a team to start. You want a team to start their offense way at the other end of the field. You want them to make that full, long drive and really tire them out if they have to make that drive.
Brett Johnson in at quarterback, folks. He's already connected once with his favorite receiver, that being Ricardo Stewart. Johnson under center, Stewart in motion. The give is to Stewart, and we have a penalty, folks. Stewart on the carry. There'll probably be a holding penalty.
Usually flags in that back of the area are usually a holding penalty, exactly.
Number 40, Jeff Runnels in on the tackle, giving him 99.5 on the season.
It's huge. That's great coaching and also great ability to get out there and get after it.
Penalty goes against the Bearcats.
It was a holding penalty, Sergio, and those can kill you when you're a strong running team, and holding penalties are common on a strong running team.
Half the distance to the goal for the Bearcats. It's now 1st and 14 from their 3. It's Bonita 6, San Dimas nothing. 7:39 left to go in the first quarter. Sergio Paredes joined tonight by Scott Fitzgerald. The give to Beelan. Beelan gets a couple.
Hey, as you saw right there again, several Saints on DeAndre Balin. You have to wrap him up and lock him down.
Balin, not only one of the better runners in the Valley, in the Inland Valley, he's 4th in the Valley in tackles, and he leads the whole Inland Valley with sacks with 14, Scott.
Yes, he is absolutely huge. He's been having a great season and only a sophomore.
Brett Johnson under center once again. 2 wide receivers to his left, looking for the open man, and Ricardo Stewart had Hackett beat by a step, but he slips on the grass.
Yes, this field out here is barely beaten up. We're getting towards the end of the season, and it's taken its share of abuse, and really looking bad tonight. I haven't seen a field look this bad in a while, but hey, these two teams could care less. They're just ready for one thing, and that's to win the game, and they're ready to play to the top competition.
3rd and 12 from the Bonita 7-yard line. Anderson. Anderson with 3 wide receivers. Anderson goes back to pass, looking deep, and it's incomplete. You might have argued there was some PI there.
Yeah, maybe looked like a mistaken route. One receiver ran one pattern, and Brett Johnson thought maybe they're going the other way right there, and they're just a little miscommunication there between the two.
And now Bonita is forced to punt. Coming in to kick for the Bearcats is back to receive, folks. to kick is Talon. Talon gets a high kick, and it's taken by Roosevelt Hackett. Hackett sweeping backwards, folks, and he's making it around the corner.
Big play.
One man to beat. He's finally knocked out by the punter, Zach Boosie. Boosie's second punt. And that was just great blocking right there by the Saints on that kick return.
Sure was, Sergio. These guys, I've seen the San Dimas Saints several times this year, and that's almost seemed to be like a key of their offense and some of their explosive players. They like to reverse direction, get the defense going one way, and then turn around and reverse it.
1st and 10 from the Bonita 28. Anderson under center. Hackett, both Hacketts, the wide receivers. Yee as well. The pass completed to number 8, Tedrick Williams.
Yes, Tedrick Williams, another huge player for the San Dimas Saints. That's what's huge about them is the fact that they got these great receivers.
Tedrick Williams, the senior, whose college choice is the University of Southern California. He also enjoys playing video games as well as collecting cards. So he likes a variety of things besides playing football. He also plays basketball, and he's on the track team here at San Dimas.
That's athletes for you, great athletes.
Anderson with 3 wide receivers. Tedrick Williams, DJ Hackett, as well as Kirk Yee. And Anderson going for it all, and it's out of bounds. Tedrick Williams just out of his reach, but it was going out of bounds.
A high-powered offense like this could put points up on the board quick. As you know, compared to years we've seen at like Steve Spurrier in Florida with a passing attack like that, loves to put up points quick and fast.
But you need the athletes at the wide receiver position. Look at the Floridas of year past. Ike Hilliard, Riddell Anthony, with both Hacketts as well as Tedrick Williams. This offense is similar to that Florida offense.
Correct, Sergio.
Fumble by Anderson, and he picks it up.
Looks like he got it back up. Main thing to do is just jump on it right there. So many kids try to pick it up and maybe do something with it. The most important thing is make sure you get the ball back.
4th and 8 from the 26, 7-yard line. It's 4th and 10, a loss on the play. And Bonita's still up 6-0. 5:09 left to go in the first quarter.
I've seen this happen before. San Dimas coming out a little slow and rusty.
Micah Miller, the senior kicker / punter, enters the game. Miller, who hopes, actually he's coming in to kick, folks, who hopes to go to Chapman University next year. It's a 38-yard field goal attempt if it's good. The kick is up by Miller. It's going. It is no good, folks. Wide right.
That's a heck
Holding
of a
penalty,
field goal.
though. Holding penalty.
That's a long field goal right there, Sergio. In a high school game, Coach Clark must have some faith in his kicker right there. You think he pulls that one?
Personal foul, roughing the kicker against Bonita, and that's going to give the Saints a whole new set of downs to play with right now.
You can't do that. If you're Bonita, you can't give San Dimas a second opportunity at this end zone. A whole new set of downs, like you said, Sergio. That becomes crucial in this game.
6-0 Bonita over San Dimas right now. 4:37 left to go in the first quarter. Anderson brings the team back onto the field. Now it's 1st and 10 from the 12-yard line. Anderson under center. The lone setback's Ingram. Anderson looking for an open man, and a man's down. Interception, Bonita. Interception by Chris Capella, and that's a big play for the Bearcats.
That is. That's just getting it back right there. Here's what was huge about Bonita's defense right there. They know they caused the penalty. They figured that's putting the weight on their shoulders. They said they got to get it back, and they did right there with a big play by Chris Capello.
Chris Capella, who that is his first or second interception of the season, should now move into the top 10 in the Valley with that pick. And right there, that was a saving thing for Bonita as DJ Hackett slipped on the grass in the end zone.
Yeah, and you might even think that maybe he might have been pulled down by one of the Bonita defenders, but the official did not see it.
Anderson brings them out once again. 1st and 10 from the Bonita Bearcat 20. We've got Stewart in motion to the left. The give is to Stewart. Stewart trying to find an open hole, and he's finally brought down, folks. Tackled, made by number 64, Joey Mason, the defensive end. Mason, the junior.
Both these teams are young, so it's not like this is the only year this could be a good game. Every year after this, it looks like it could be because they have good young programs. They have a lot of juniors and sophomores on the team. They're just not relying on seniors.
LVTV would like to thank Warehouse Pizza for the crew food this evening. Warehouse Pizza located in the city of Laverne in the Old Town District. Stewart in motion, gets the pitch, he's sweeping right. Met there once again by Mason, pardon me. Mason with 2 quick tackles on Stewart.
Looks like Joey Mason is really pinning his ears back and getting after it tonight.
Joey Mason, as I was starting to say, this defense, especially the linebacking core for San Dimas, is composed of juniors. And when you have a player like Mason and a player like Runnels, I mean, they're going to have an outstanding defense for next year.
Hey, that's one thing as a coach you want to hang your hat on, and you don't have to really worry about much, is your defense going into the next season.
It's now 3rd and 5 from the 25-yard line of Bonita. We've got Johnson back to pass. Johnson looking for the open man. He swings it out to the running back. And it's finally brought down by Jeff Runnels.
Jeff Runnels, that name.
That gives him 100 tackles on the year with one more game, plus this one, and it's early in this game, folks.
You know, Sergio, we're going to hear these names all night for this linebacking core. These guys are fast. They're out there. They're getting out to those ends, the sidelines, and they're bringing down those Bonita backers.
1st down, Bonita by Chris Capella off the pass from Brett Johnson. Now Bonita at the 31-yard line. You have the big backfield in there of Brian Siegel. Johnson back to pass. Johnson looking for Stewart. Stewart being covered by Roosevelt Hackett. Stewart wanting a flag. That was just pretty coverage by Roosevelt.
Yes, it was. He was right on him. And what's really amazing, too, tonight is that Bonita's gone out and really thrown the ball. I've covered a lot of Bonita games also, and I really haven't seen Bonita come out with this strong of a passing attack early often. Usually last week against Baldwin Park, they only went to the passing attack when they were down. They still ran it strong even down while they were down, but when it came down to crucial moments, they started to go to the pass. I felt it was a little too late for them.
Coming into this game, folks, Brett Johnson averages 7 passes completed, 11 attempts for 118 yards per game and 1 TD. He's nearly reached the 11 pass mark, and we're still in the first quarter. And there's going to be a false start against the Bearcat offense.
I think the strategy of Ted Clark and the San Dimas Saints was to make the Bonita Bearcats pass the ball. They want to see these guys. They want to see if they want Bonita to beat them by the air. They want to say, if you're going to beat us.
The penalty, false start against the Bonita offense, making it now 2nd down. 2nd and 15, it seems.
And Sergio, so far it looks like that Bonita's not shy to throw the ball, and they are saying, okay, San Dimas, if you want us to throw the ball, we will. We're going to hit our specialty players, and they're glad to have Ricardo Stewart back after last week's suspension.
Now, tell us a little bit more. What happened to Ricardo Stewart?
Well, It was not in the Baldwin Park game, but the week before, he got into a little altercation with, which was the South Hills game, with one of the South Hills players, I believe, and so with a fight, then you are suspended for the following game, the next game for the following week or the next week.
Well, we're lucky, folks, to have him here for tonight. It's the Smudgepot Bowl. Actually, the Smudgepot game.
Smudgepot game? This could be a
Smudgepot
bowl.
We are at Glenn Davis Stadium. Johnson under center. Johnson's rolling right, looking for the open man. And it's intercepted, folks. Interception made by Tedrick Williams. And he takes it all the way down to the Bearcat 35. And that, my friends, was Johnson's 4th interception of the season.
Well, Sergio, as you know, when you pass the ball a lot, you have a tendency of getting a lot of interceptions. We've already seen one from Anderson. We've seen one from Johnson now. So both these guys have one interception under their belt, and each team with a turnover under their belt now.
There is a penalty flag on the field, however, and it looks as if it's against San Dimas. It's 1st and 10, and the ball goes all the way back to the 25-yard line of the Saints, ruining a brilliant interception return by Tedrick Williams.
Yes, and that's what's great about San Dimas, is the fact that these guys, once they get the ball, they have the ability to do something with it. They just don't get tackled.
Ingram's your lone setback. Hawkindale's in there, as well as DJ Hackett and Roosevelt Hackett. Anderson lines up under center. We've got Yee in motion. Anderson going for it all, folks, and he's going after Roosevelt. Roosevelt Hackett with the reception, and he's fired up. That's a long first down into Bonita territory, all the way down to the Bearcat 45-yard line.
Sergio, some of these kids are making catches that are not regularly made by high school players. They're making catches as if they're on the next level already.
1st and 10 at the Bearcat 40. That was a great reception. That was just great chemistry between the quarterback and the receiver. Anderson under center. 2 wide receivers to his left. The give to Ingram. Ingram up the middle. Jukes one receiver. Jukes one man. Finally met in the backfield by Joe Martin, the senior strong safety.
Another thing again, Ingram kept his feet. Martin did not get low and try to tackle him. He stayed high and tried to bring him down with his upper body. And Ingram's legs are way stronger, I'll tell you right now, than Martin's upper body.
1:39 left to go in the first quarter, folks. It's Bonita 6, San Dimas knocking on the door, and this has been a real exciting game thus far.
Sure has, Sergio. It's lived up to the expectations so far with the big plays so far.
2nd and 7 from the 37-yard line. Anderson. It's 1:39 left to go in the first quarter. Bonita 6, San Dimas nothing. And Anderson nearly sacked. There he goes. He's finally brought down by DeAndre who?
Balin.
That's sack number 15, folks.
The tank was in once again. The guy gets in, he's tough to stop from getting in there. Baldwin Park did a successful job last week against Bonita and shutting down DeAndre Blayland because he is a strong player, but they had 3 or 4 guys helping out. They had running backs coming in and helping out on the blocking on him.
In the top 15 in the Inland Valley, folks, Bonita has 4 of the best tacklers in there, including Balin, Tolan, Siegel, and Carmack. Anderson under center. 3 receivers fall, and there's a man in motion. That's going to bring San Dimas back, folks, as Tedrick Williams jumps a little bit too soon.
Yeah, well, you know what? Bonita was bringing up all their guys that time, showing a blitz, trying to get them to jump, and they did. It was successful.
Bonita bringing the house on that play.
Yeah, And when they bring the house, they bring everything.
Illegal procedure against the Saints. Anderson waiting for the signal from the head coach. And that was just a great defensive call by the Bonita Bearcats.
Well, Sergio, what's going to come down to tonight, and we've seen some penalties early often, it's going to come down to execution. Who's going to be able to execute down the stretch? These teams are evenly matched. We know that. And it's going to come down to who's going to execute and who's not.
You are watching the Smudgepot game between the Bonita Bearcats and their rivals, the San Dimas Saints. It's a chilly Friday night, but these teams are trying to put up stats left and right. This give, it's a quick pass out to Daniel Thornton. Daniel Thornton, who's also the rover on defense, which means he can play free safety, strong safety, linebacker, whatever.
As you said, it's a chilly night, but these two teams out here on this field are heating it up quick.
It's 4th and 16 from the Bearcat 42. San Dimas showing punt formation. The lone setback for Bonita is number 2. That's Ricardo Stewart, and it takes a Bonita bounce. Finally picked up by Hackett.
Still a fairly good punt.
1st and 10 for the Bonita Bearcats. 9 seconds left to go in this first quarter.
Coach Hatley has to be pretty impressed with the way his defense is playing right now. He's really shutting down, giving up a couple big plays, but getting right back after it. Not hanging their heads after the big plays they give up to San Dimas, and getting right after those big plays. So he has to be pretty happy so far with the Bonita defense.
And right there, that was a good punt by Sean Sweetlow. It once again puts them deep in their territory. 1st and 10 for the Bearcats from their 12. The give is to DeAndre Balin.
Besides that big run at the beginning of the game, Sergio, it looks like they went back to the drawing board and looks like Coach Clark told them, hey, we need to get more guys on this guy. More than 2.
Todd Blank with the stop. That's the end of the first quarter, folks. Bonita 6, San Dimas nothing, and the crowd reacting as another one bites the dust being played over the PA system. And this is what's great about high school football, the rivalries. It's like the big college games that we see.
You know, Sergio, I was talking with a good buddy of mine, Coach Alley, who is for the San Dimas Saints, and I wanted to get the feel about how was the attitude around school at San Dimas. And the same thing with, I was talking to some of the people over at Bonita. How was the feeling going into this week? This is such a huge game. They said the kids were energetic. They couldn't wait for Friday night and couldn't wait to get out there and watch their students, their football team play, and the students rooting on their football team.
Folks, it is standing room only here at Glenn Davis Stadium. And if you don't know the history of the stadium, Scott, this stadium is named after Glenn Davis, who won the Heisman Trophy in 1946 for the Army Cadets.
Yes, correct.
And Davis, and we have the give. The give, it's a sweep. The give is to Ricardo Stewart, and Stewart's still on his feet. Finally brought down at the 25. Well, getting back to the story about the stadium, Scott, obviously Heisman Trophy winner in 46. He was a 3-time consecutive All-American from 44 to 1946 on a team that included Doug Blanchard, and they won 2 consecutive national titles. In honor of him, coming from the School of Bonita, from the city of Laverne, they named it after him. A fitting tribute to one of the greatest running backs in the college game.
And just thinking about this, how many high schools could say they had a Heisman Trophy winner go there?
Well, seeing how there's only one player each year winning the Heisman Trophy, not too many.
Exactly.
We've got Brett Johnson under center. Stewart in motion. He becomes the extra running back. And Stewart trying to look for an open receiver. Now he's taking it himself like Cordell Stewart. Ricardo Stewart, Cordell Stewart.
They use this guy for everything, Serge.
And Stewart brought down once again by Corey Hagan, number 10 of the Saints. And it is now 2nd down for the Bearcats.
As you can see, the fans here, this is unbelievable. The fans over at the Bonita side, the fans here from San Dimas, wrapping around the stadium here, the field.
2nd and 7 from the 29-yard line. Bearcats on the move. The give is to DeAndre Balin. Balin still rolling, folks. Fumble-aya, Fumble-Rooski, recovered by Roosevelt Hackett. And Hackett's just turned into the man tonight.
I would say so. He has made some big catches already, and now a fumble recovery.
And don't forget that kick return.
And interception.
He's done it all, folks. The only thing left on his resume for tonight is a quarterback sack, and I wouldn't put it past this kid to do it.
Maybe a touchdown, a couple touchdowns would be nice for him.
Seeing how he doesn't have any on the season, I think that would be a fitting tribute for tonight.
He could come up huge here.
San Dimas takes over at the Bearcat 44. DJ Hackett, Roosevelt Hackett are your receivers. 2 running backs. The give is to Ingram. Ingram gets tripped up behind the line by DeAndre Balin.
Hey, that run by Tank, DeAndre Balin, was unbelievable. He went over one San Dimas defender, got into their secondary area where their secondary had to come up and make the tackles. And luckily, he fumbled the ball away for San Dimas, at least.
Ryan Tolan in on the stop as well. Hackett goes out. Returning to the game is Tedrick Williams, who had an interception as well for San Dimas. Hackett in motion to the right. Hackett looking for the reception. What great hands by the kid as he goes just out of bounds in front of the defender, that being Devin Robinson, the junior.
He went up and got it. Anderson threw it a little high. Being an athlete like DJ Hackett is, he was able to jump up and go after and get it. He's definitely an upper limit athlete.
DJ Hackett is showing why he is NCAA material. He's made some unbelievable catches, and that's only the third time they've thrown in his direction.
Well, I'm sure Bonita wants to keep the ball out of his hands tonight. I'm sure they do.
We've got Hackett in motion once again. Bonita bringing it, and it's a fake, and it's going deep to Roosevelt Hackett. He's triple teamed, and it's thrown way in front of him. Flag on the play, however.
I think it might be a late hit on the quarterback, though, Sergio.
Anderson did take a hit, but it is a holding penalty. Anderson very upset with the call.
Both the defense is so high-powered in this game also, along with the offenses, that the offensive line, the only way to get by is maybe to get a little hold here and there and trying to sneak them, get away with something. But it's not getting past the officials tonight, Sergio.
Well, one thing you do when you're playing a game of this magnitude, if you're playing against a team with white-colored jerseys, you use white-colored tape. If you're playing a team with dark-colored jerseys, you use dark-colored tape, so that way the hole's not as noticeable.
Correct.
We've got Anderson under center. Hackett, and DJ Hackett moves, man in motion, but he was trying to anticipate Anderson's call, and there's another penalty against San Dimas, putting them further back, and and it's against the Bearcats, folks. That's against number 8 of the Bearcats, Joe Martin, the senior strong safety. Third and 14 at the 45-yard line. Bonita showing blitz. Anderson back to pass, looking for the open man, and he had DJ Hackett open as Devin Robinson slipped.
Looked like miscommunication there, Sergio.
Hackett didn't even turn around.
He turned around late. The time he turned around, the ball just whizzed by his head.
4th and 13, punting situation for San Dimas, and that'll bring in their punter for the 3rd time, Sean Swedlow. And Swedlow has shown a propensity of putting the Bearcats in poor field position.
Very important in high school football is to have a good punter, so those teams aren't going to get good field position every time, and San Dimas has that.
And there's another piece of dirty laundry thrown onto the field, folks. Let's see what this one's called. False start against the offense. That'll put them even further back. It now goes to 4th and 19 from the 50.
So that maybe helps him out a little bit. Maybe gets Swedlow a little time to get it back there a little bit further where it might not be a touchback, and they get at the 20. Maybe he can put it back at the 1.
But it also gives Stewart a better chance of returning the ball.
True.
And with you got an explosive players like Stewart and both Hackett's. And here's the pump by Swedlow. It's nearly blocked. Stewart takes it, bobbles it, and he's still on his feet somehow. He's got finally brought down by 4 tacklers at the 30-yard line.
B.J. Neal laid a lick on one of the San Dimas players there, right there.
B.J. Neal, who does like to hit people. He's got 9 sacks this season, so you know. There's a look at Ricardo Stewart, the wide receiver free safety of the Bearcat team. Johnson waiting for the play. Entering the game for Bonita is number 21. B.J. Neal, the aforementioned B.J. Neal. The give. Siegel up the middle. He's got 2 men to beat. Finally, he's brought down by Tredrick Williams. A long first down gain, folks. All the way down to the 45.
When you're a coach, the last on a running attack team like Bonita, the last person you want to see making the tackle while Bonita's running at you is your secondary. As you see right there, Tedrick Williams had to come over and make the tackle.
San Dimas forced to call a timeout. 1st and 10 for Bonita at the San Dimas 45. And that run right there, just an impressive run by the great running back,
Yes,
Siegel.
no doubt about it. We have Coach Rick Martin out there talking to his defense. Believe me, he will be getting that team fired up. He'll be fixing the problems. Rick Martin was left over from the Craig Setlich administration of coaching at San Dimas when he had to leave abruptly, and Ted Clark stepped in and now is in his 2nd year and has done a great job ever since, and kept guys like Rick Martin, who have really been a solid leader as in coaching with getting these kids prepared for games.
At the top of the program, we mentioned that Bonita likes to use a variety of running backs, and we haven't really seen any one running back for too long of a span. We've seen Siegel, we've seen Balin, we've seen pretty much everybody. We've seen Stewart, and there's the head coach of San Dimas, Ted Clark. It's now 1st and 10 from the 45. And once again, we have 2 different running backs in for Bonita. One of them being B.J. Neal, and this one is Siegel. And Chris Cacello gets this carry. Cacello with another long first down.
Chris Capello, Sergio will absolutely is just another threat that they have, that this team has to throw at you in the backfield. And when a team has several different running backs, no one's really getting tired.
And that's usually what makes a great team, when you have so many players to throw out somebody. DJ Hackett in on that tackle, and that just shows that Hackett is a gamer. I haven't seen him taken out of the game thus far.
Yes, he is.
The give to DeAndre Beelan. Beelan sweeping left. He's into the San Dimas secondary, still on his feet. Finally brought down by Tedrick Williams, the free safety. And there's another long first down.
Once again, your secondaries are making the tackle. Your secondary is coming up and having to stop the running backs. You can't have that. If you want to stop the running game, you need your linemen, your linebackers coming up and stopping the run, filling the gaps.
1st and 10 from Bonita at the 14-yard line. They're knocking on the door once again. 8:13 left to go in the first half. Bonita 6, San Dimas nothing thus far. Johnson under center. B.J. Neal, the lone setback. Ricardo Stewart And it's a reverse. The give. Siegel gets the reverse. Flag on the play, though.
Flag on the play. Looks like it's going to be holding.
64, Joey Mason on the stop.
Looked like the receiver was locked up the cornerback and held him.
It's holding against Bonita. Joey Mason with his third tackle of the ball game. And that's going to be a very, very painful penalty for Bonita. 1st and 20 from the 29-yard line. It's 7:53 left to go in the first half. Bonita 6, San Dimas nothing. Bonita knocking on the door once again. Johnson under center, Stewart in motion. It's a fake. Johnson looking for an open man, and he throws it, and it's nearly intercepted, folks. And it had to been picked off by Corey Haygood, who serves as the fullback. He had a nice 75-yard touchdown for San Dimas in his sight. Nobody was close to him.
If he handles it, Sergio, if he handles it. But believe me, we haven't heard the last of Corey Haygood. He's another one, big player, who's going to be making some big plays tonight that we've seen on the San Dimas defense.
Timeout, Bonita. 7:48 left to go. 6-0 in favor of the Bearcats. And Haygood just another one of those outstanding, really one of those special athletes that both schools seem to have.
It's no doubt about it. These guys are all play more than one sport. They're just not one sport athletes, and that's what exactly it means to be an upper division athlete, an upper limit athlete, more like it. Haygood also plays baseball, and has been playing for the varsity football team since he was a sophomore.
Haygood is a junior this year. His hobbies include snowboarding as well as wakeboarding, which is the takeoff of snowboarding on the ocean. Look of the fans right there. And folks, they are still coming in to this game. That's how big of a matchup this is between the two cities. At stake, the Smudgepot. We're still waiting for time to begin once again. The official talking to Coach Ted Clark. San Dimas cheerleaders trying to get the fans riled up. And now we have a return to action. Johnson under center. It's a fake. He's going to pass. Finds Stewart open. Stewart brought down out of bounds by Roosevelt Hackett. Joe Martin in there as well. Joe Martin with the reception. Correction. No, it was Ricardo Stewart with the reception. Correction, folks. Joe Martin did not receive it. It was ruled thrown out of bounds. Moving it to 3rd and 14. Unlike the college game, you need both feet in bounds.
Yes, exactly.
3rd and 14 from the 18-yard line. Johnson out of the gun. Johnson looking back to pass. Here comes the rush. He dumps it off to the running back. Capella going, brings it down all the way to the 2 or 3 yard line of San Dimas.
Number 20, Danny Thornton on it.
Danny Thornton in on the tackle. Chris Capella, the wide receiver, running back, cornerback, free safety, linebacker tonight.
Those little dump-off passes that Bonita is doing right now is really hurting because they're getting it to the running backs who have the speed, have the power to get it downfield, and that's what they're doing. They're giving little dump-offs to Siegel and Capello, and these guys are getting yardage, and that's what Bonita needs.
Martin, Stewart, and Capella leave the game. In there now for Bonita is B.J. Neal. We have DeAndre Balin, and they're calling for a measurement. Balin returning to the sidelines. Johnson going to talk to the coach, see what he wants to do. They're saying it's 4th down and 1 from the 4-yard line. Correction, 1st and goal from the 4-yard line after the official measurement. Bonita with their jumbo package. 3 running backs in there. You have
Bonita's
Neal in there.
defense has been out there a lot, Sergio. They must be tired.
You have the lone setback. It's the give. Capella with the give. Did he get it? Nope.
Right there, right here's a battle of will right here, because both these teams are lining up all their guys on the line, and they're just going to try to run it right down San Dimas' throat. San Dimas met the match right there and shut them down.
2nd and goal from the 2-yard line. Now entering the game is DeAndre Balin, the big, powerful tank, as we like to call him. The tank, the lone setback. The give is to Balin. Balin, touchdown, Bonita. And Balin scores once again.
As we said, Tank just barged his way in there.
DeAndre Balin with his 2nd touchdown of the game, sporting the skeleton face underneath that mask.
He has some type of facial makeup on under there. Hopefully he's not cross-dressing.
And the Bonita band playing Hail, Wisconsin.
They must have some ties back there to Wisconsin.
And Bonita will go for 2, folks. Balin deep in the backfield once again. And Johnson going to keep it himself. He's hit once, and he's brought down. The 2-point conversion is no good. Brought down by Corey Haygood. Haygood making up for that dropped interception right there with the key stop. So with 6:43 left to go in the first half, Bonita puts up more points, 12-0 over the San Dimas Saints.
Right now, Coach Ted Clark is just trying to tell his team, hey, look, there is 6:43 left in this half. Hey, there's a lot of time to play in this half. Let's go out. Let's try to get something going here. Let's try to get our offense started, and let's stop shooting ourselves in the foot with the holding calls or the penalties that are taking them out of the great position they're getting on these great plays they're making. Every time they make a great play, they're shooting themselves in the foot with a holding call and stuff, and you can't, to win games, you can't do that.
We're ready for the kickoff. Zach Busey off to kick. Busey. Here's the kick. It's a deep kick. Taken in the end zone. Taken by Daniel Thorne. Thorne still moving, folks. Finally brought down by Brian Siegel and Ricky Hawkins. And it's out to the 34-yard line. 1st and 10 from the 33, and that was a 33-yard kickoff return by Daniel Thornton, the running back / safety.
Daniel Thornton, a junior, another guy it looks like they're going to have back next year that is probably going to be a big playmaker for him next year when some of these seniors leaves, like both the Hacketts.
Anderson sending Hackett into motion. The give to Ingram. Ingram brought down, hard hit by Ricardo Stewart coming up from his free safety position.
Yes, Ricardo Stewart came up and made a really nice play on that hit right there. Came up and did what he was supposed to do right there. That was really great.
2nd and 8, a gain of 2. Bonita at their 36. San Dimas at their 36.
Yes. Right here, San Dimas looks like they're going to the air. I see them looking for a pass here. Got a receiver in motion.
Kirk Yee in motion to the right. It's a fake. Anderson rolling right, going for it all. He's throwing it out. Caught. No. They're ruling it incomplete. Bonita fans happy. San Dimas fans very upset, as well as Terdrick Williams, who made the catch, but 1 foot was in, 1 foot was out.
And I can see why some of the San Dimas fans could be mad, because there was a double white line over there. The second line is the one the team has to stay under, and the other one is the sideline of the field where it is out of bounds. And the second white line is also out of bounds that the team has to stay behind. And that looks where it looks like his foot was in, and some of the fans could have got confused with that.
Williams out of the game. Re-entering the game is Roosevelt Hackett. And Anderson, the last couple of times he's thrown it, has been scrambling for his life, folks. We've got Kirk Yee in motion. The pitch is to Ingram. Ingram met by 4 Bearcat defenders. Ricardo Stewart as well as Chris Carmack in there.
Yes, Carmack came up and laid a nice punishing hit right there on Ingram. Carmack has been a huge player for the Bonita defense. He's been one of their top leaders in tackles in every game, and he's up there meeting the challenge every night, every weekend to challenge himself and playing against the best players every weekend.
4th and 6 from the 38-yard line. You have Swedlow into punt.
I believe this is the 4th punt by Swedlow.
This half, yes. The last one was a very good punt. And this one, he just barely gets off, folks. It's going to bounce out of bounds.
Not a good punt.
And that gives Bonita excellent positioning with 4:42 left to go. San Dimas unfurling a sign.
This huge sign is coming over the crowd right now.
Folks, you've heard of the wave. There's this white piece of paper coming at us. And we can't see a thing.
We're getting up to see what's going on. This is really great for San Dimas to do this, but it's absolutely ridiculous because we cannot see what's going on.
Johnson under center, thanks to the wizardry of television, Scott. The give, and we've got P.J. Neal tripped up in the backfield. Neal tripped up by Daniel Thornton, as well as Joey Mason, who's got his 5th tackle.
Yes.
It's 4:19 left to go in the first half. Bonita 12, San Dimas nothing. Bonita 2nd and 11 from their 33.
Way to get that one, Sergio, because I couldn't really see it since I had a big waste of paper in front of me.
And here's the give. The give, and the man is still on his feet, folks. That's big. Jeff Runnels with the tackle. That's his 102nd on the season. And Brian Siegel with another long first down run.
Jeff Runnels, junior linebacker, came up, made the hit. Like I said, Sergio, earlier, we're not going to stop hearing those names. Those guys are big-time players for the San Dimas Saints.
Jeff Runnels, who wants to go to the University of Washington. Here's the give once again up to Sapillo.
Yes, that was a nice run by Capello. Stayed on his feet, looked like he got tripped up, stayed on his feet, picked up a couple more yards.
And the paper keeps attacking us, folks. Yeah, this paper is getting Chris Capello with another first down run, making it 1st and 10 for Bonita at their own 38-yard line. The give up the middle, and there's another flag, folks.
Got a holding. I think it might be a face mask there, Sergio.
Blank in on the tackle for San Dimas, and once again, Siegel with another carry. And this one goes against the Bearcats. 3:25 left to go in the first half. Saints fans kind of quiet.
They're bringing it back. Penalties again, a huge factor. If you want to win games, you can't make penalties.
It's probably a delay of game penalty because they just brought that even further back.
Yeah. Execution is huge.
You've got the tank in the backfield as well as B.J. Neal. Your wide receivers are Stewart. In the give to DeAndre, the tank, Balin just gets a couple.
He's running out to number 22,
DJ Hackett pushes Balin out of bounds. And right there, you've got one Val Vista. I can't spit it out tonight. Val Vista, possibly all-conference player. And there's the Saints mascot.
Looks like the Dragon has been slayed, but the game's not over, and San Dimas will be up again.
The Dragon looks like he's having an epileptic seizure.
Maybe he was.
And
give him milk and make a milkshake.
The clock did not run, folks.
Looks like we have some problems on the field with scoreboard and the timekeepers on the sidelines.
DeAndre Balin, who has accounted for both of the Bearcats' touchdowns, each from under 6 yards. The first one was a 2-yard scamper, the other one a 6-yard scamper. And Balin increases his total to 72 points scored. Brett Johnson going deep to Ricardo Stewart, and it's incomplete. Hagan in on the coverage. And now they're starting to put Hagan on Ricardo.
Well, and Corey Haygood's a guy that could meet that matchup. He's a great athlete, along with DJ Hackett, in the same type of, level of athleticism they have. Both the same. He could handle Ricardo Stewart. Maybe he's better of a cornerback than DJ Hackett a little bit here. He's a very defensive-minded player, Corey Haygood is.
B.J. Neal re-enters the game. You've got Stewart at one wide receiver. Your other wide receiver is Martin. Johnson nearly bobbles it. He's forced to scramble, and he gets a couple. He turns a little nothing into a little something.
That's huge right now. You see that. It could have been a loss for Bonita. But in a way, they found something to get something out of it. And little things like that are helping out Bonita right now.
A pickup of 3 yards, making it 4th and 12 from the 41-yard line. Punting situation.
Yes, luckily, Brett Johnson didn't get the yardage he needed to get a first down for the Saints. But just the fact that even the little mistakes right now so far are moving in Bonita's way. And if you're a San Dimas Saint football player, you really don't like seeing that.
We've got a timeout on the field. Saints call a timeout. And what is your analysis thus far of the first half, Scott?
Well, the Saints wanted to come out and make Bonita pass the ball. Well, they've done it. They've shown that they could pass the ball. Well,
we have an injured player on the field, and that's Jeff Runnels. And that, if he's not able to play on this down, folks, that could be considered a key injury later on. But he's walking. He looks like he might have had the wind knocked out of him. We'll get that information to you later on.
Yeah, just shaking up a bit, it looked like.
Zach Bussey on the punt for the Bearcats.
Bussey in punt formation for the Bearcats. 4th and 12 from the 41-yard line. You have DJ Hackett deep to return.
Hackett looking to make a big play right here. At any time, this guy could explode for a big play.
Hackett's been a little quiet tonight. Bussey's punt is up. And it takes a Bonita, actually a San Dimas bounce, now a Bonita bounce, and it's finally downed.
But we do have a penalty on the play, Sergio.
Down by Lawrence Wright.
First and 10 for the Saints.
First and 10 from the Saints from their own 9. We have a penalty flag on the play, though. False start against the offense, so the kick goes for naught. And they're going to re-kick this one.
It looks like they're going to.
And that's the 4th false start penalty that we've seen against this team tonight.
Yes, both teams probably very nervous, and that's why we've seen a lot of penalties right now. Kids, you know, when you get into this type of game, kids are really jittery and stuff like that, and that's why it's common to see a lot of penalties right here in this first half. Usually after halftime, the coach will give them the speech, give them the talk what they need to do to get back on target and get back into it, and usually those penalties sometimes subside a bit.
It's an illegal procedure penalty against the Bonita Bearcats, and now San Dimas is considering having them re-kick it.
This obviously is in favor of San Dimas right here.
And San Dimas not knowing where the ball is.
A little confusion out there on that field.
We've got Boosie back to punt once again. DJ Hackett back to receive. The snap, the kick, it's up. It's a good punt. And it bounces into the end zone. Touchback.
Gonna get it at the 20, it looks like here, Serge.
First and 10 for San Dimas at the 20. With 2:39 left to go in the first half, Bonita 12, San Dimas with possession. And don't rule out anything yet because Anderson, Jesse Anderson, the San Dimas quarterback, ranked number 2 in the Inland Valley in passing, has just taken the helm once again.
And with this type of high-powered offense, passing attack, you can see anything right now. You can see absolutely a couple great catches for a touchdown by any one of the receivers.
Hackett in motion. And we've got another penalty, folks. The give was to Daniel Thornton.
Yes, we do have some jitters tonight, that is for sure.
False start against the San Dimas Saints, 1st and 15.
Must be the full moon out tonight, Sergio.
It must be. Or is that a 3/4 moon?
Might be a gibbous moon.
Well, we know it's not a crescent moon.
There you go. Enough of moon talk.
We've got a great one on our hands tonight, folks. 2:36 left to go in the first half. Bonita 12, San Dimas, led by Jesse Anderson under center. Anderson looking to pass. He's going for Hackett. Hackett bumped. San Dimas fans wanting a pass interference, and they are complaining viciously. They're letting it be heard. Devin Robinson did, it seem, to make contact with DJ Hackett. Was it incidental contact or was it intentional?
I don't know, Sergio. I think the Saints got a good argument there. You couldn't see the fact that Robinson ran into Hackett, which wasn't allowing him to go up the sideline any further to have a chance at the ball. I really think that the ref really missed a call there.
Don't forget, folks, there is a 10-yard chucking rule where you can do anything for the first 10 yards, then after that you have to let it go. Here's the Anderson back to pass, and he's hit as he throws it. Caught, reception made by number 85, their big tight end, Brian Holkendale. And we haven't really called his name out tonight, folks, but he is another one of the key offensive weapons that San Dimas needs to get into this game.
Which I'm really surprised so far we haven't heard much from him, because at a game against South Hills High School, they called his number often. He made up some really big catches against South Hills. for gains of 10 to 15 yards.
Hockendale on the season with 21 receptions for 300 yards, a 14.7 average, and 4 touchdowns, making him third on the team in that category.
The reason Anderson likes to throw to him, he's a tall kid. He's 6'4".
2:14 left to go in the first half, 12-0 in favor of Bonita. Anderson fakes the give. He's hit by DeAndre Balin. Fumble. And finally, the ball was recovered by Corey Haygood. He goes for a couple yards where he's met viciously
by the other Bonita player, was really knocked on the ground, but Haygood just scooping that ball up and taking off with it. That's a huge play to get on it, to find the ball and get moving.
Balin showing everything tonight, folks. He's already had a sack, 2 touchdowns. He's got 5 carries on the evening tonight, and right there he causes a fumble.
Well, it looks like, Sergio, a lot of these Bonita players are trying to make up for their lack of stats they had last week.
It's 3rd and 16 from the San Dimas 15-yard line. Sergio Paredes joined this evening by Scott Fitzgerald from Glenn Davis Stadium. It's the 24th annual Smudgepot game between the San Dimas Saints and the Bonita Bearcats. And thus far, it's been all Bonita.
So far, but San Dimas has been knocking, and just with penalties, as we've seen also on the Bonita side, we've seen penalties, have really stopped them from going on beyond the 40 tonight.
We had a timeout on the field and called by, it's 4th and 16, folks. That was 3rd down on that fumble. 4th and 16 from the 14 of San Dimas. They're obviously in punting situation. The question is, would you go for it, Scott?
No, because you're not far out from the game. You're only down by 2 scores. You don't want to be down by 3 scores at half. And so I wouldn't go for it. The game is still fairly early.
Bragging rights in the Val Vista League at stake tonight. Both teams 7-1, 4-1 in conference. And here's the punt. Bonita didn't even go in to try to block it. The punt taken by Siegel goes up the sideline, and he's met there by Matt Honeycutt, the senior.
Now the object right here for the San Dimas Saints is just to try to shut down this running game right here. They don't want to have their secondary start making the tackles anymore.
1:48 left to go in the first half. Bonita with possession of the ball, 1st and 10 from their 35. And it's a give up the middle by DeAndre Balin. Gain of a yard. And there was a fumble on the play, folks. San Dimas showing they've got it. Balin's still down.
Tom Blank stepped up and made a big play right there, Sergio. Really,
Balin's down, clutching his knee, folks, in agony.
That's not good. I actually believe that is, I think that might be Sergio. Balin's up in the huddle. I think that might be B.J. Neal. I can't get a good look at it, but I believe I saw a 2 on that jersey.
Well, no matter what, they lose one of their key defensive players. Neal with 9 sacks on the season.
But also a very good fullback for him.
And
another one of those guys, big spread out backfield they have for the Bonita Bearcats.
It's Bobby Neal, B.J. Neal, the injured Bonita Bearcat. So once again, Scott Fitzgerald correct. And Neal off on his own power.
Well, it might have been that ankle. He had an ankle injury against South Hills, and towards the end of the game, acted up his ankle, aggravated his ankle, and he might have re-aggravated it and hurt it. So
1:34 left to go in the first half. Bonita on the move. 2nd and 9. It was a gain of 1 from the 36-yard line. Johnson under center. you have Brian Siegel. And here's the deep pass, folks. Going for Stewart. Stewart can't get it. Being defense by his counterpart, DJ Hackett.
Another great coverage. These guys are on each other like a glove. They're covering each other. They can't shake each other. That's what makes great matchups. It's who's going to be the one to break away first.
And as we said before, I'm surprised that they're actually throwing towards DJ Hackett's side because he does lead the whole Inland Valley with 4 interceptions. You've got Brent Johnson out of the shotgun, trips right. Johnson looking for the open man, and he swings it out. And there's another penalty flag, folks. Reception finally made and pushed out of bounds to
Joey Pastrella.
Capello.
Late hit.
Capello with the reception. It was a late hit.
Things like that are going to kill you. You can't do stuff like that constantly. You're giving them opportunities. And right now when you're behind, you can't give the leading team opportunities to win.
Don't forget, folks, Bonita has won the Smudgepot game the past 2 seasons. San Dimas wants to return it to where they feel is home. The Bonita fans think otherwise. It's got all the drama that you ever want and more. With 1 minute 11 seconds left to go in the first half, Bonita 12, San Dimas nothing. Bonita with the ball, 1st and 10 from the 21, and they're looking to score.
Sergio, even in the years where this game was a battle for last place, these teams came out with the same intensity. The names weren't there, but the intensity was.
And that's usually true with all great rivalries. You might have a down year, and if one team's great and one team's lousy, the bad team wants to ruin the good team's season. Well, when you have a game of this magnitude, and here's a give up the middle to Balin.
The tank.
The tank rumbling his way upfield. I don't think he's stoppable.
He is if you get a couple guys on him. You got to get more than one, more than 2, maybe 3 and 4.
And here's the give once again to Balin. Balin up the middle, pushing his way forward, now being pushed back. And they're going to say that his momentum was stopped. In on the tackle was Daniel Thornton.
An interesting thing about DeAndre Balin, he's only a sophomore. The kid is probably the strongest guy on the team. The whole Bonita team is really strong. I was talking to Coach Hatley. Coach Hatley said probably the most thing he prides his team on, he really likes about his team this year, is their strength, their ability in the weight room, what they have done in the weight room. Before he got the coaching job, the weight room wasn't an area where they were really strong in. And he said since he started, he's put in a great weight program, and it's paid off. It's been 4 years. These guys have all been through it. DeAndre Balin is one of them with a 300-pound bench press as a sophomore. That's huge.
That's huge. And it was an official's time out for a measurement. Bonita gets a first down by just the edge of a nose of the football. 23 seconds left to go in this first half. You've got 3 running backs in the game. So Bonita going with their jumbo package. San Dimas fans trying to get into it, trying to tell their team, wish their team. And there is, it's either encroachment or a false start on the offense, but big number 43, Juan Donoso, the linebacker, just comes sweeping up the middle.
Well, he started pointing at B.J. Neal. B.J. Neal got out of his stance and started to move.
Well, Neal went into motion, it seemed, and it's against San Dimas.
Oh. Coach Clark is livid right now. Ted Clark can't believe it. He's coming out on the field. He cannot believe what he has been seeing right here.
And now that makes it first and goal from second. It's either first down and goal from the 5. We're waiting for the official word. Neal in motion. It's a fake. Johnson looking for the open man, and it's dropped by Stewart. Hackett in on the coverage. 7 seconds left to go.
Smashing. Absolutely. This game right here is smashing.
Now the scoreboard's reading 3rd and 6 from the 5-yard line, Scott.
3rd and 6, 7 seconds.
My question is how you have 3rd and 6 from the 5.
Exactly.
And Bonita will go for a field goal.
Had a fake once before, they might do it again.
Here's the kick. The kick is up, and it's good.
Field goal by number 15, Linder is good.
Linder with the field goal, and that pushes the lead to 15-0 in favor of Bonita, and we're at halftime, folks.
That's huge. Linder last week missed 2 field goals for them against Baldwin Park, resulting in a loss.
And at halftime, like we said, it's 15-0 in favor of Bonita. Scott, what's your analysis been of the game thus far?
Well, clearly, Bonita's been dominating the whole game. And the only reason why I honestly believe is because San Dimas has been shooting themselves in the foot with the penalties. The Bonita Bearcats, though, to take nothing away from their great play, they've been come out fired up. They're a little more fired up than the San Dimas Saints are right now. They want it more. They want to keep that Smudgepot here, and they want the league title right now. Their passing game has been effective. The Saints said, let's go out, let's make you guys pass. And the Bearcats have responded greatly with that by Brett Johnson by showing poise, having protection, and throwing the ball very well, and also running the ball well.
Right now entering the field are the Bonita Bearcat cheerleaders as well as the San Dimas Saints cheerleaders. And
beautiful sight.
They're all loving one another. And that's what it comes down to. I mean, these people don't live that far from one another. You go to a different school, but you're all pretty much family. But getting back to the game, your scoring recap pretty much comes down to DeAndre Bayland with his first touchdown of the game, a 2-yard end around to start things up in the first quarter. And then a few minutes ago, a 6-yard burst up the middle to make it a 12-0 Bearcat lead. And then Curler right there with the field goal, making it 15-0 in favor of Bonita. You're watching the Smudgepot game between the Bonita Bearcats and San Dimas Saints. This is Sergio Paredes, joined by Scotty Fitzgerald at halftime. And we are at halftime, where the San Dimas Saints 0, the Bonita Bearcats 15. It's the 24th annual Smudgepot game. Sergio Paredes joined at the half by Scott Fitzgerald. We've had a great game thus far, a little penalty plague. But, Scott, why don't you tell us about those first half statistics?
Well, it's basically first half dominated by Bonita. But and here's some stats to show Bonita's productive offensive abilities. Brett Johnson, quarterback, 5 of 13 for 59 yards, 2 interceptions. DeAndre Bayland, 12 carries, 85 yards, 2 touchdowns. For Brett Johnson, the 5 for 13, that's not a typical game for him. The 2 interceptions, not another a typical thing that he usually does. But DeAndre Bayland has been the big guy, 12 carries for 85 yards, 2 TDs. That's huge. As with San Dimas, Jesse Anderson not having a typical game with 6 for 13 for 82 yards and 1 pick. So the quarterbacks are kind of canceling each other out right now, and it's coming down to the running game so far. The running game for San Dimas isn't as productive as the running game for Bonita. Ingram, 5 carries for 14 yards, but it has been the passing game of San Dimas with Roosevelt Hackett with 3 catches for 76 yards. Yeah, that's been huge for him.
And coming into tonight's game, folks, we would have thought we would have seen a lot more of DJ Hackett. But DJ Hackett, while he's been a little silent offensively, Roosevelt Hackett's made up for it. But DJ Hackett's come up with some good plays defensively, as has DeAndre Bayland. Bayland, don't forget, had that sack and that key fumble.
That was huge for him.
So with 1:05 left to go before the second half kickoff, don't forget, folks, San Dimas declined and chose to take the kickoff in the second half, so they will receive. Stats brought to you by the staff of LVTV. We'd also at this time like to thank Warehouse Pizza once again. Warehouse providing the crew food for tonight's event, and it was great as always.
They're like a cornerstone in Laverne. Their food's always great.
Warehouse Pizza located in Old Town Laverne, about a block away from the University of Laverne. And the Saints come out onto the field, and it looks like they've got their heads a little bit low.
But you know what, Sergio? As I know Coach Ted Clark, he's famous for inspirational halftime speeches. They were playing against Sierra Vista. They were down by a touchdown going in at half. He gave a very inspirational halftime speech, and these Saints came out and were fired up and end up winning the game at the end, right at the end, and to keep their undefeated record going at the time.
And the Saints retake the field to the cheers of their fans. The 24th annual Smudgepot game is underway once again. San Dimas will be heading towards the scoreboard now. They chose to move in that direction. They will receive. And going into the second half, what would be your key changes that either coach might make?
Well, for San Dimas, they have to step up and play defense. They got to shut down on DeAndre Blayland. They have to definitely have linebackers and linemen step up, linebackers to fill those gaps that they are running at, and put him on the ground. As with Bonita, Bonita is pretty solid. They want to stay out of that penalty range. Same with San Dimas, doesn't want to be in the getting those penalties all the time. And definitely Bonita doesn't want to give penalties and give San Dimas opportunities to get back in this game tonight.
There you saw a picture of Jesse Anderson, the quarterback, as well as one of his favorite wide receivers, DJ Hackett. The Saints are ready for the kickoff. You've got Thornton as well as Ingram ready to receive. Here's the kick by Buzzy. Busey's kick is a beauty. Ingram takes it in the end zone. Automatic touchback. He wanted to return it. I honestly think that if he wanted to return it, let him return it.
I honestly believe that too. It gives them a chance, give them an opportunity. When you're down, you want those opportunities to maybe break a big one right there. Just break one loose for a 98-yard return or a 99-yard return, and get your team on the board. And they have the opportunities and the players to do it.
And there's a look at the Bonita Bearcats defense, led by the free safety Ricardo Stewart, as well as the defensive end, number 1, DeAndre Blayland. Anderson under center. The lone setback is Thornton. The give to Thornton. He breaks one tackle. Finally brought down by number 22, Chris Capello.
That was a nice little run to start off the second half right here. Get it going. They need to be able to run the ball. They need to be able to open up that passing game. They need to get Ingram and Thornton out there to give their receivers a chance to make some plays.
A pickup of 6 yards for Thornton. 2nd and 4. Here's the pitch to Ingram. Ingram sweeping right. Oh, he just knocks down the free safety. Actually, the cornerback, David Musa, stepped up, tried to take him down, and he just got knocked out.
He walked all over him right there. He went up. Musa came up to make a hit, but Ingram was lower, and those strong legs of Ingram powered him right over Musa.
That's his 6th carry for 18 yards. And in the first 2 plays, San Dimas has shown run. DJ Hackett far to the left, being guarded by the cornerback, Dave Musa, who just got hit. And there's another give up the middle. This time, this taken by Rodney Cohen.
Actually, that was Corey Haygood, the fullback.
Corey Hagan. Hagan, the fullback, who also has done some outstanding work as a coverage man tonight on Ricardo Stewart.
Right. We've seen 3 run plays from San Dimas so far. I'm sure Coach Clark went in there and told them, said, look, we're not going to get it all back at once. Let's build something here.
Anderson coming into this half with 6 of 13. Anderson back to pass. He goes, and it's deflected. It was intended for Yee, and it was deflected by Joe Martin. And Martin barely just tapped that one up. It was a free-for-all. 3rd and 6 from the 34-yard line. And Ingram comes off a little bit gimpy to the sidelines, folks.
You got a 3rd and 6 right now, Sergio, and you need to you want to pass the ball. You need to get something in the hands of one of the Hackett's.
Roosevelt Hackett's been the key man tonight. 3 catches, 76 yards. Anderson being forced to throw it, and he just gets laid out, folks, by Capella. Capella just unblocked.
Chris Capello came right in and really put a nice lick on Jesse Anderson right there. I'm sure he's going to be remembering that number.
And now DJ Hackett's coming off a little bit gimpy. So it's 4th and 6 from the 34-yard line.
Well, it's cold out there right now, Sergio, and you got to make sure you get warm, or you're going to come up. You're pull something. You're going to come up lame.
Ricardo Stewart back to return the punt. Sean Sweetlow with the catch. Here it goes. Here's the kick. It's a very poor kick, and it's out of bounds. Goes onto the track here at Glenn Davis Stadium.
Sweetlow right now looks like he's taking too much time, and with a good defense like the Bonita Bearcats have, you can't take that much time. You have to get it off. These guys are coming in with Boleyn. Martin came in huge that time, full speed, and almost got a hand on it.
1st and 10 for the Bonita Bearcats at their 48-yard line. With 9:38 left to go, this is Bonita's first possession of the second half. Johnson under center, Stewart in motion. The give is to Balin. Balin sweeping, and he's still on his feet, folks. And there's a flag. That might be a face mask call.
It's in the face mask area, usually somewhere around that area, outer, usually while they're trying to tackle, is usually when the face mask comes into play.
McDonald in on the stop for the Saints. And we're waiting for the face masking against the Saints.
That hurts. That hurts. That just adds on to the running punishment that DeAndre Blaylen just put on the Saints, and you tack on, you give them that more yardage to move that offense up. And a first down.
That right there, folks, was a 7-yard run by Balin that has just turned into a 1st and 5 at the 28-yard line. And here's the give. And that was Capella.
It looks like to me out there, Sergio, that San Dimas' defense looks a little tired. They're worn out already. We've just started the second half. They look tired. They're running right at them. And I have seen this happen before with the Sierra Vista game. The Sierra Vista running backs just kept pounding it at the Saints linemen and really wore them out.
Balin re-enters the game as the deep back. He's already got 13 carries for 92 yards, so he's well on his way to a 100-yard ball game, folks. And here's the pitch to Balin. Balin, and he's still on his feet, finally brought down by 3 Saint defenders. In on the tackle, DJ Hackett.
This guy's a workhorse for the Bonita Bearcats, Sergio. He runs hard and runs strong, and he's fearless too. He's not afraid. He's the type of a lot of running backs look to get away from people that are going to hit him. He's a guy who likes to find the hit, kind of like what Christian Okoye used to do when he was with the Chiefs. That guy loved to find the hit and make that contact.
3rd and 2 from the 20-yard line, and Okoye was one of those big, powerful, and very quick backs.
Just like the Tank.
The give is to, oh, he's just met The give was to, well, Santiago's there.
That is Robert Santiago. This kid is huge. They call him Tiny. He is.
That guy is about as tiny as a mansion. 6'4", 257, folks, taking out poor number 22. That is Capella. Tail of the tape. We know who won that one.
That is a big hit by Robert Santiago.
That is a hit that you will be seeing on replay one of these days. And we've got a offsides on the defense. Joey Mason. He's a junior. Mason, who's had a big night tonight with 6 tackles thus far, commits a penalty right there, giving Bonita better position.
Really hurts him. You know, here, Robert Santiago makes a big play. Mason comes back, jumps off sides. Everything that was captured right there is now lost. San Dimas has to put it behind him and concentrate right here on making a stop.
1st and 10 for the Bearcats at the 14, and they're knocking on the San Dimas Saints door yet again. The give is to Capella. Capella sweeping, finally brought down by number 20, Daniel Thornton.
Thornton came up, saw the gap, filled it, wrapped him up, and drove him down.
Gain of 2, 2nd and 8 from the 12-yard line. Roosevelt Hackett also in on the tackle. And Hackett is just doing everything tonight, folks. He's catching passes. He's made interceptions. It's 15-0, 6:18 left to go in the 3rd quarter. Smudgepot game number 24 between the San Dimas Saints and the Bonita Bearcats. You've got Neal in motion. The give is to Ricardo Stewart. Stewart gains a couple. Danny Thornton with another tackle.
The Bearcats have gone into their running game, as you've noticed. The passing of Brett Johnson just isn't going to be there right now because they're happy with their ground game right now. They want to eat up that clock. They want to run the ball.
Johnson re-enters the game. Stewart checks out. Stewart was playing quarterback on that possession.
He really does everything for him. I talked to Coach Hatley, and that's what he liked about Ricardo Stewart. He said he could put him anywhere, and he feels confident wherever he's playing.
We've got Johnson under center, the big packed field. DeAndre Balin. Balin takes it, and it was 3rd and 3 from the 7. Did they get the first down?
Right.
First and goal, a pickup of 3-yard lines. Balin, 15 carries with 97 yards and 2 TDs, and he nearly had another one there.
Right now, they're controlling the game, and when you control the run, you control the game.
You've got Capella, Neal in the backfield. They're going with their jumbo package, the package that scored for them often tonight. Capella goes. Capella, touchdown, Bonita Bearcats. And the Bearcat fans are into it.
That's another big run, and as if you notice, they just keep rotating the backs in. They're always fresh. They keep bringing a new back in. One gets tired, they throw another one at you. They just have 4 or 5 different backs that they just keep throwing at you, and that's tough to stop, especially when your defense has been out there all game.
Capella scores from 3 yards out, making it a 21-0 ball game. And in comes the kicker, and he made 1 field goal, but he has not. Their extra points have failed both times. Here's the kick. It's up. The kick is no good, and he has not hit an extra point yet, folks. But it's 21-0 after a 3-yard touchdown. Capella bullying his way through that San Dimas defense.
Yes, he did. And the San Dimas Saints are looking pretty wary on defense. They're probably, for one reason, they're missing one of the key players. Mike Spalding hasn't been playing for him. He's hurt his knee, and he's probably done for the season. And he's actually a big defensive player for the San Dimas Saints, a guy they rally around. He fires them up, and it really hurts. And when you're playing your toughest game of the year and you don't have your one of your top defensive players playing.
Spalding comes in with 4 sacks on the season, and that gives him the lead on the San Dimas Saints team, along with David Thornton. Daniel Thornton, correction. And here's the kickoff taken by Roosevelt Hackett. Hackett on his feet, folks. Actually, that's Ingram. Stewart just lays out Ingram yet again.
Sherman McLaurin, number 43, really came up, put a nice hit there on Ingram. Really wrapped him up and drove him to the ground. It was really nice.
1st and 10 from the 21-yard line. 4:37 left to go in the 3rd quarter. This game not quite done yet, folks. You still got plenty of time if you're a Saints fan. 1st and 10 from the 21. Anderson going back to pass. And he's throwing it deep to who else? DJ Hackett. Interception. No, it's dropped. And the Saints fans want PI yet again. David Musa on the coverage of DJ Hackett. And right there, he did push him off, but it seemed like Hackett pushed him off as well.
Well, it seemed like they were both going for the ball there, Sergio. Both guys battling for the ball. Musa had his back turned. You know, what can you do when both guys are just competing?
Now, one thing that you should remember is if your cornerback is looking back towards the ball, the ref will generally not throw the flag. If he's not, then you know there's going to be a flag thrown. And right there, Musa was looking back, it seemed. And here's the give to Thornton. Thornton still on his feet, picking up yardage.
Number 2, Bellin, number 8. Martin, and number 17, Lisa Candy on the stop for the Bearcats.
Canning in on the stop for the Bearcats.
One running back I haven't seen from San Dimas tonight is Anthony De La Rocha. I heard there was some problems that he had gotten into with the team, and I don't know if he's playing. I haven't seen him. I think they took disciplinary actions with him, and that really hurts because he's a scrappy little back for him. And guys like that, you always need. These guys, they start scrapping at times like that, and that really hurts not having him.
It's 1st and 10 from the 33. Anderson back, and there's another flag, folks. Anderson going for the open man. Hackett just off his fingertips. Free play. But getting back to your point, Anthony leads the team with 5 touchdowns. And so you lose one of your major scorers right there.
He's a scrappy back. The guy knows how to work hard, and when he's in there, he gets after it. He's behind Ingram. He changes. He splits time with Thornton, and that's tough not having one of the guys who is one of your main touchdown producers.
We have an illegal participation penalty against San Dimas, and that's something that I haven't heard called that often, unless it was maybe one of the offensive linemen going out and as an eligible receiver, and he didn't say anything.
Exactly.
But that brings the ball back, folks. 1st and 25 from the 16-yard line. Anderson calling signals, fakes the give, and he's going deep to nobody. Closest receiver there. And now there's another flag called. San Dimas fans happy about this one. The closest person there was the Bonita player, and that was Sherman McLaurin.
It also looked maybe number 69, Steve Page, was in on it for the roughing the passer. These are things that you don't want to happen. You have San Dimas pinned back at 2nd and 25, and now you get this roughing the passer, and which would have been probably 3rd and 25. Now you bump them up. That gives them 2nd and 10.
2nd and 10 on it would look to be the 26-yard line.
And you can't just do that. If you want to put a team out, you can't let them back in with penalties.
Jesse Anderson, the senior quarterback of the San Dimas Saints. Anderson coming into this ball game had 1,640 yards passing. He has now moved past the 1,700 mark, Scott.
Yeah, he has definitely been able to throw the ball, and that's definitely what keeps the San Dimas Saints offense moving. And tonight for every big play they've made a couple plays that have kind of brought them back with penalties, and your offense really can't go in like that. But as if you notice, these coaches here at San Dimas have stayed really composed, and they're not flustered yet. You're 3:31 left in the third quarter. These coaches are pretty confident.
Anderson under center. He has thrown an interception tonight, folks, which gives him 5 on the season. Anderson looking back to pass. It's a pass out to his wide receiver, who is met right there. Tedrick Williams met right as he tries getting back to the line. No gain. Capella with the stop. 2nd and 11. So a loss of 1. And both quarterbacks coming into tonight, they're not having their typical game, Scott.
No, they're really not. They're usually their passing percentages are usually a lot higher than this. These quarterbacks are fairly accurate. And actually the attempts for Bonita are up. For Brett Johnson, his attempts are at the half were 13. And I believe they're still at that because they didn't run any passing plays in the last set. They've been mainly running the ball, but 13 is high for him in the first half.
Now we have a clipping penalty called against the San Dimas Saints. So as the old song goes, 2 steps forward, 1 step forward, 2 steps back, it seems.
Yes, and like you said, you don't go anywhere. You're just spinning your wheels.
2nd and 25 coming into tonight's game. Right now it's Bonita 21, San Dimas nothing. Coming into tonight's game, Jesse Anderson averaged 28 passes attempted for 205 yards. He's nowhere close to that tonight, folks. Anderson sacked by DeAndre Balin. Balin with the 2nd sack.
That is a huge play. Balin came in. He's the whole game, Sergio, he's pinned his ears back and really got after it.
The tank rumbles through the line, smashes it open, and takes Jesse Anderson down.
DeAndre Balin has really stepped it up a notch.
That gives him a league-leading 16 sacks, folks. That's just amazing. In 9 games, tonight's the 9th game, 16 sacks. Anderson calling signals. DJ Hackett in motion. Balin coming in on the blitz. Anderson hit from behind as he releases it. And he was tackled right there. He actually hit by number 54 of the Bearcats.
This is the first time I've ever seen the San Dimas offensive line with this many holes in it. It seems like these Bearcats are getting through fairly easy. And that's really something that I haven't seen much of because they're really prided in their lines. They both have big lines, both teams. San Dimas has a big offensive line. Bonita has a big offensive line. But so far it looks like Brett Johnson's getting all the protection, and Jesse Anderson really isn't getting the protection he needs right now.
Jeff Kreutzer with the hit that forced Anderson to misfire that ball. It is now 3rd and 35 from the San Dimas 6. And the give up the middle. The give is to Argood. And there's another flag, and that should be a late hit penalty. Haygood.
What it was, Sergio, on 33, Ryan Tolan came up to Corey Haygood right after he was down, grabbed his face mask, and twisted it. Those are the type of things, if you could get a opposing team, to draw them into penalties, you could really succeed that way. And that's what Bonita doesn't need right now. They don't need to do that. They're ahead. There's no reason to give cheap shots like that right now.
1:45 left to go in the 3rd quarter.
You don't want to wake a giant. You don't want to start doing these illegal penalties or roughing or late hits, maybe fire up a sleeping giant like San Dimas. That's what you don't want to do. But if you, as with right now, Bonita has them where they want. They don't want to open that can of worms.
And Anderson still in. We're waiting for the official word. Obviously, the chains did move. It's something with the clock. Coach Ted Clark out there talking to the referee. Once again, we'd like to thank Warehouse Pizza for their great meal provided to us from LVTV.
One thing that's really interesting about Ted Clark, he coached one of our alumni at Laverne in the communications department here. He coached Kieran Estrada at Glendale College.
Kieran, for those of you who don't know, Kieran is finally, he's graduated now, and one of the young filmmakers. He was one of Don Pollock's favorite students. And now in to punt is Sean Sweetlow for the 6th time. And it's just great Friday night football here, folks. Here's the punt from Sweetlow. It's up. This one is returnable. It bounces, and it finally rolls out of bounds at the 32-yard line.
Great punt from Sweetlow. That's what San Dimas needs from him right now, and he gave it to him. The other punts been really poor and given Bonita great field position. That comes back to the penalty on Ryan Tolan that moved the ball up and gave them better position for that punt.
Sweetlow, the junior, who lists his hobbies as wakeboarding, golf, and girls.
Hey, that's everyone's hobby.
So 1st and 10 from the 29-yard line. Bearcats have possession with 2:01 left to go in the 3rd quarter, up 21-0. Johnson under center. The tank, DeAndre Balin in the backfield. And the give is to number 2, Ricardo Stewart, with another carry. And it seems as if, Scott, Bonita has decided to go with the ground game.
That's what, if you're up by 21 points and it's the 3rd quarter's almost come to an end with 1:41 left and clock running, that's what you want to do. You want to eat that clock up. You want to use as much time as you can and stay with something that's been working so well, which is the Bonita ground game.
Balin exits the game in at as well as Neal. Stewart at one receiver pointing to his man. And now Capella breaking tackles where he's finally met by 2 Saints defenders, one of them being Hagan, the other one being Runnels. Runnels, who intends to go to Washington after his senior year. And I believe that he could be one of the dominant linebackers of the future.
As a junior, yeah, he has a whole year to grow, a whole year to make improvement.
Runnels, who is 6'1", 170, the weight might throw him off. We've got Johnson under center. The give is to Balin. Balin up the middle, still on his feet, pinking people down with him. And finally brought down by Haygood.
Tough to bring down, no doubt about it.
And folks, Balin has passed the 100-yard rushing mark. Balin's fired up for this game. He's done everything tonight. And now there's a timeout on the field with 14 seconds, or are they going to let the clock? They're going to let the clock die out. No, they stop the clock now. Timeout on the field with 12 seconds left. 21-0 in favor of Bonita. They're still running the clock. Officials, umpires telling them to run the clock, and the clock continues to run. It was a momentary lapse. And that's going to bring us to the end of the 3rd quarter, where the Smudgepot game, the 24th annual Smudgepot game, Bonita, the home team, Glenn Davis Stadium. 21, the San Dimas Saints yet to score.
As you can see, Sergio, Coach Rick Martin, defensive coach Rick Martin was out there talking to his defense. He was out there giving them confidence. Hey, stay in there. Keep your head in. Don't lose focus of what the goal is. You still got a whole quarter left. It's high school football. As you know, in high school football, anything could happen.
21 points can be made up easily, folks, especially when you have players the caliber of the Hackett's, as well as, actually, what surprises me the most is that we've only called Brian Hogendale's name out once.
True.
And it seems for San Dimas to get anything going, they need to start going to the tight end more. We've seen a lot of Tedrick Williams and Yee, but we've really not seen Hogendale. And Hogendale's a big target, folks. Hogendale, 6'4", 165, so you know he's got height. The give to Capella. Capella up the middle, 2 men to beat. And he's finally brought down by Roosevelt Hackett. Chris Capella. And Hackett, a little shaken on the play, finally gets up with the assistance. But right there, that could be the dagger in the heart of the Saints.
It sure could be. They got him way back. They had San Dimas back on their heels. Capello broke through that line, got it down way deep, really deep into San Dimas territory, and it looks like they're getting ready to at least could walk away with a field goal from this this drive here, but it looks like they're not done.
But their field goal kicker also has been inconsistent. And it's Johnson with the give. The give is out to Siegel. Siegel met at the line, tackled by McDonald. 2nd and 10 from the 22. And right, once again, it seems as if the Bearcats are ready to scratch their way to another score.
See some fans now filing out of Glenn Davis Stadium after they've seen the 4th quarter and that big run right there. You see some fans starting to leave and just feel that maybe it's over for the Saints. But you know what? It's not. Like you said, it's high school football. You keep playing, and weird things happen. Stranger things have happened in high school football.
You've got Stewart out right far. The give. And here it goes once again, folks. Siegel up the middle, breaking tackles. And there's a flag once again. Thornton in there, as well as Fumidi Hitokyozo.
That penalty was actually on Ryan Purnell. He had caught Siegel, he brought him down, and then gave him a little bit of a shove on the ground, a little push. You can't have that. You're down 21-0, and your frustrations are starting to show. But you got to bury that stuff. You got to just keep playing harder and keep working harder.
1st and 1 yard from the Saints. It looks like looks as to be 1st and goal from the 9-yard line. 1st and 6, so it's 1st and goal from the 6. Johnson under center. You've got the big bruising package of the Bearcats with B.J. Neal, as well as DeAndre Balin, and the give is to Balin. Balin up the middle. Balin, touchdown, Bonita. That's his 3rd TD of the game, folks.
Give him the hat trick, everyone. Unbelievable. 3rd touchdown. Just mowed his way through, Sergio. Just showed why they call him a tank once again by pounding several San Dimas defensive players to get to that end zone.
Well, you said this game was a poor man's Stanley Cup, and there's the hat trick for you. DeAndre Balin, 3 touchdowns to go with his over 100+ yards rushing. Not to mention his defensive stats. All you need now is another sack. Balin just showing why this is such a great matchup. It's his own world tonight. Here's the kick. The kick is up, and it's blocked by San Dimas.
really.
And Bonita has yet to convert an extra point.
As we see Bonita with the lead here, 27-0, and we start looking at the CIF picture. San Dimas is going to be in CIF. Bonita will have one of the top seats since they are a winner and they are ranked higher than San Dimas in CIF. But you're heading into CIF where games are close and games are tough, and you got to have a kicker that can bring you points. And with right now, if I'm Bonita, I'm a little worried the fact that my kicker can't kick close extra points and field goals because games are won by a point and 3 points.
He's 1 of 1 from making field goals, folks, but he has missed all 3 extra points. One of them not being his fault because they tried running a reverse, but he's missed 2 easy extra points. So with 10:21 left to go in the fourth quarter, it's Bonita all over San Dimas, 27-0. Boozy back to kick. And here it's taken by number 32, Ingram. And once again, they're calling a touchback. And I wouldn't be surprised if Ingram could have gotten it all the way out to the 40 on that. There was anybody near him.
Right, exactly. And you know what? Those kicks right now by Bussy are really favoring Bonita. He's getting them in the end zone, making them start the 20 every time. Not giving those specialty players the chance to run one back and change the outcome of this game.
Brian Hogendale enters the game, then exits it. I don't know what's wrong, but it seems as if they're not trying to involve him into tonight's offense. You've got 3 wide receivers. And there's movement on the line. And just look at the reaction by Roosevelt Hackett. Hackett and DJ Hackett are just in disgust. So right now, the 7-1 seasons of both teams, it seems as if tonight that Bonita will take the edge in not only the Val Vista Conference, but overall improve to 8-1. Stranger things can happen. We still have 10 minutes, 20 seconds. But from the way it looks right now, it should be Bonita using the running. And Anderson's nearly sacked. He's brought down.
The line has really fallen apart for San Dimas.
Steve Page with the sack.
He's pumped too, and he has all right to be. He came in, made a huge play right there with the help of the other Bonita defenders.
And the offensive line not buying Anderson any time to do anything. Ingram checking back into the game. And the clock keeps ticking on the Smudgepot. Steve Page with the sack. 9:40 left to go in the fourth quarter. Anderson taking it out of the gun. Ingram in motion. And he flicks it to Ingram. Ingram up the middle. And he's finally brought down.
Ingram on the carry.
Tackle made
Number 28, Brian Siegel on the
by
stop.
Brian Siegel.
Soon as Anderson hikes the ball or receives the ball, he has to start scrambling. He has to look because these Bonita guys are coming in at by 1, 2, 3, just coming right by him. And if he's dodging one, the second guy's coming up on him. If he's missing that second guy, that third guy's eventually going to get him. They're coming in at him at swarms right now.
Roosevelt Hackett exits the game. Tedrick Williams enters. Anderson out of the shotgun. Bonita goes into their gangrene defense. Anderson looking for the open man. He's got Tedrick Williams wide open who drops it. He did have a green shirt around him for 4 yards, folks.
Looks like it was a little low, though, which is really rare. Anderson with a great arm could really air it out, and for one time, maybe just saw that way too soon, got overexcited, and just didn't have it to put on the ball.
That brings us to 4th down, and the Bonita Bearcats, with Ricardo Stewart receiving, will take possession once again. You've got Sweetlow to kick for his 7th time. And slowly, folks, the game seems to stretch out of the Saints' gas. Sweetlow's kick, it takes a Bonita bounce, finally recovered at the Saints' 38-yard line.
The ball just seems to be bouncing Bonita's way right now. San Dimas is still playing hard. They're trying to get after it. They're trying to get something started. They don't need to get on the number one goal right now for Bonita is just to get on the board.
As the Bonita band starts playing Hey, Hey, Goodbye. 1st and 10 from the 31, Brett Johnson. He's not having a great game, but he's doing the adequate job. He's doing what needs to get done to help lead the Bearcats to victory.
He's running the offense is basically what he's doing.
Here's the jumbo package. The give is to DeAndre Balin. Balin still on his feet, finally brought down
Number 10, Haygood.
by Haygood.
Number 87.
Brett Johnson is doing a great job by basically just keeping his poise, not letting the team get too emotionally high right now. They realize they still have a game going on. They can't start celebrating too early, and he's just doing the right job by keeping them under control and keeping that running game going by giving it to Balin.
Don't forget, folks, at the conclusion of our game, we'll give our players of the game for each team. The give is
Yes, number 22, Chris Capella.
to Capella. Capella gets the necessary yardage, and the clock continues to slowly roll down.
64, Joey Mason on the stop for San Dimas. Brings up 3rd and 1 for the Bearcats.
3rd and 1 for Bonita. Joey Mason in on the tackle once again. And fans are slowly starting to trickle out of Glenn Davis Stadium. Johnson under center. You've got Balin, and the give is to Capello once again, and he
Robert Santiago.
goes up the middle, met by Santiago. Tiny with the tackle.
Tiny is he is only a junior. So this is a guy they're going to look forward to having back next year playing for him on that defensive line.
Well, as we mentioned before, you've got Runnels, Mason, Santiago, as well as 2 of your defensive backs coming back. So the core defense will be there for this Saints team. And it's not like
guys
the
like Haygood too, Sergio, who are other defensive guys.
And it's not like the season's over. Obviously, they still have a winning record. They should get into CIF. Here's the give out to Stewart. Stewart going on an end around, still going. There's another flag, folks.
He's hit front of the bounce by number 31, Roosevelt Hackett.
Roosevelt Hackett with another tackle.
And you're right, Sergio, exactly. Not after this game, it's not like the season's over with. Last year in the Val Vista League, Covina won the whole thing. Covina was the big team. South Hill's coming in 2nd. 3rd place went to Northview. Who stayed in CIF the longest and went to the semifinals? It was Northview, the 3rd place team. It's all pairings and matchups, and it doesn't mean just because you're the number 1 team you're gonna be in the longest. Upsets happen, and you could get the wrong pairing.
And we've got a clipping penalty called against Bonita. Ball goes back to the 34-yard line. 1st and 24. You just saw Ricardo Stewart leave for the sidelines. Here's the big backfield. Capella up the middle. Fumble! Hackett recovers yet again. Runnels forces the fumble. And folks, this might be the spark that the San Dimas team needed.
Exactly, but right now it's 6:30 left in the game. You have a fumble. Your main goal is let's get some points on the board and let's see what we can do from there. You got to get points on the board. You got to build a drive. You got to be penalty free right here to get something going. As so far in this game, the Saints haven't shown us that they are penalty free.
1st and 10 for the San Dimas Saints from their 26-yard line. Anderson under center. The give is to Ingram. Ingram being wrapped up by 4 green jerseys.
Number 22,
Capella in there. Capella, who just fumbled, makes the tackle. And once again, Scott, is that balanced rushing attack that you talked about early on that's really hurt this team, except you've had one stand on, that's DeAndre Balin.
Exactly. That's exactly right, Sergio.
San Dimas with the ball, 2nd and 11 from their 25. 5:54 left to go in the ball game, folks. Bonita up 27-0. Anderson out of the gun. 4 wide receivers. He throws, nearly intercepted by Capella. It went through DJ Hackett's hands. And Hackett only has 2 receptions this evening.
The thing is, what we're seeing right here, after this game, San Dimas goes out and I believe plays Ganesha.
They do end their season with Ganesha,
with
yes.
Ganesha. But Bonita does not end their season so easy. Ganesha really not having the big season. Bonita ends their season with Covina.
But if Ganesha were to study this film, if both schools were to study, Anderson looking for the open, he's sacked! DeAndre Balin, he's got the hat trick on the sacks as well. That's his 3rd sack of the night to go with 3 TDs.
He really came in and put a nice lick on Jesse Anderson right there.
And I think Anderson and Balin are going to become accustomed to one another and grow to become close friends after that hit. And now San Dimas is forced to punt yet again. Time is on the side of Bonita, folks. 5:05, the clock continues to count down. Sweedlow back to punt for the 8th time this evening. You've got 2 returners in the backfield. Here's the punt. It's a good punt. And it goes, and nobody's for Bonita is going to take it.
Takes a great San Dimas punt, or bounce.
Matt Honeycutt retrieves it, and it seems as if Ricardo Stewart, as well as number 28 of the Bearcats.
I believe that is Brian Siegel.
Siegel just stood there like, what am I going to do with it?
Well, he just literally said, you know what, I don't need to try to go pick this thing up and fumble it and lose it and then have one of the San Dimas players pick it up and run it in the end zone. Hey, we got the clock on our side and the score.
Johnson calling plays in the huddle. The Saints defense. And they're showing blitz, folks. The give is to Siegel. Siegel sweeping right. And he's on his feet still. Finally forced out of bounds.
Number 40, Jeff Reynolds on the stop for the Saints.
And now
Plays ahead with 40.
Now, where this also leaves the playoff picture, also, San Dimas moves in a tie. If Baldwin Park wins tonight against Ganesha, would hopefully move them in a 2nd place tie. So San Dimas isn't even done. They got to have a battle for 2nd place. But if it comes down to a tie, luckily San Dimas did beat Baldwin Park earlier in the season.
2nd and 1. That was a 9-yard gain by Siegel from the 41. And we've
Number 43, Sherman
McLaurin with the carry, and he gets the 1st down yardage and more. Fans slowly trickle out of Glenn Davis Stadium, and they've seen a great game thus far. 3:51 left to go in the 4th quarter. Bonita 27, San Dimas 0. McLaurin, first name Sherman, picks up the first down yardage and some. 1st and 10 from the 45, and Johnson seems like he's just going to give it to the running game. The give once again to Siegel. Siegel still going. Might have picked up the first, more like a gain of 7. And it seems right now that by giving the running backs their carries, it's helping to pad their stats.
Exactly. And it's just eating up the turf, eating up the time. Bonita's obviously dominating right now. And just San Dimas' defense has been out on the field a lot this 2nd half.
tonight, Brett Johnson has moved into, and here's the give to DeAndre Balin. Balin, it takes about 6 Saints defenders to finally bring him down. Runnels pats him on his head after a good run, and that picks up a first down, folks. But going now with this game, Brett Johnson, and there's still 2:42 left to go. Brett Johnson has passed for over 1,000 yards this season.
Yes, it's Brett Johnson really just playing solid, playing very controlled, and that's the great thing about both these teams. Jesse Anderson really is a great quarterback and shows his poise. Brett Johnson, the same thing. Both these teams have great quarterbacks.
Johnson calling signals. The big man Balin in the backfield. And there was a false start. Balin got confused with the quarterback signals, and he just flinched a little bit. And that's going to be a false start against the Bearcats, making it 1st and 15.
Coming down to 2:20 left. This game next week against Covina will be a huge game for Bonita, because you're coming off a big high this week, and you can't have that letdown. Most teams do have a letdown the following week after a big win. Kids are unfocused, they feel their goals in hand, and it's really not. They still got one more game. And believe me, Daryl Thomas, where Covina has been dominating this Val Vista League, will be waiting for the challenge. He loves to play the spoiler.
Covina waiting in the wings for this one. Johnson under center. Balin the deep back. The give, though, is to Capella. Capella breaking tackles, and he's flipped over by DJ Hackett. Hackett's having more of a defensive presence than an offensive one tonight.
And Sergio, they just showered Coach Hatley by dumping the water on him. He can't believe it. It's absolutely freezing out here, and they dumped the water on him. They totally surprised him, and he cannot believe it. He is soaked with freezing cold water.
1 minute 30 left to go in this game, folks. Bonita 27, San Dimas nothing. And the disco music starts blaring from the speakers. Capella up the middle, gets a couple yards. And everybody's still having fun, especially the Saints mascot, trying to get the fans involved into this game. As Salt and Pepper comes over, the people are just having fun tonight.
When you realize, though, when you take away from this game on the field, you realize the whole idea is to have fun. The idea out there on the field is to have fun. You're competing. Both excellent talents competing against each other, but overall is to have fun.
And Johnson under center. 41 ticks left on the clock, folks. Johnson's give is to DeAndre Balin. Balin up the middle, and they're just running out the clock. And San Dimas calls actually it's a first down. They stop the clock to move the chains. Craig McDonald on the stop. Not Greg, Craig.
Looks like they're gonna get one more playoff.
We'd like to thank the LVTV staff for helping us this evening, doing a great job. And Johnson takes a knee, and time will expire. The 24th annual Smudgepot game is now over, folks. Bonita 27, San Dimas nothing. Players of the game, obviously for the Bonita Bearcats, DeAndre Balin.
I would agree.
Over 100 yards rushing, 3 TDs, 3 sacks, making it 17 on the season.
That was a big play. I would say for the San Dimas Saints, it has to be Roosevelt Hackett.
And look at a picture, the Bonita Bearcats just loving it. DJ Hackett and the Saints. Hackett didn't go out the way he wanted to. He wanted to bring the Smudgepot back home since he's a senior, as well as Roosevelt Hackett. But like you said, Roosevelt Hackett did it all, folks. He had an interception, 3 catches for over 70 yards. I mean, you couldn't ask for more from one of your top players. There is the Smudgepot, folks. And like I told you, a Smudgepot was used to keep orange trees warm. Well, for the 3rd consecutive year, it belongs to the Bonita High School Bearcats. Started in 1974. on a bet between Laverne Mayor Mike Morales and the San Dimas Mayor Buck Cooper. It was chromed. There's a plaque. You could chalk up 1998 Smudgepot winner to Bonita.
That is, and they deserve it. They came out, played hard, got after it right from the start. They wanted to show that, hey, they are one of the better teams in the Val Vista League, and they want to show, because that's what it was tonight. It was a showdown between the two best, and Bonita showed that tonight, Sergio.
Both fans, both sections cheering on both teams. The Saints are still out here. The Saints fans showing their support, and just look at the Bonita Bearcats. It's like they won the national championship, Scott. They're just joyous at the occasion.
Well, like I told you, in a way, it is. This is the poor man's Stanley Cup, and this is a big rivalry. The bragging rights is forever. You could say when you played in that game, you never lost to San Dimas. You never lost to Bonita. It goes on through generations of alumni and players that have played throughout the years for both teams.
We mentioned that the key people to look out for was the running game, and the running game of Bonita definitely was the key factor, as well as the defense shutting down Jesse Anderson.
Yes, they did. They shut down the run of San Dimas, and then it made the pass a lot harder for San Dimas. Made Jesse Anderson's job a lot harder.
And you could see Jesse Anderson walking the sidelines, just staring at the trophy, knowing that for the third consecutive year, he won't be able to bring it home.
Yes, exactly. And he won't ever have a chance to bring it home because he's a senior and he is done this year.
Well, we hoped you enjoyed tonight's game from Glenn Davis Stadium, the 24th annual Smudgepot game. It's a final. Bonita Bearcats 27 behind 3 touchdowns and 3 sacks by DeAndre Balin. San Dimas, nothing in a hard-fought victory. For Scott Fitzgerald, this is Sergio Paredes. Scott, always a pleasure working with you.
Also.
You've been watching LVTV, your community access station.